3, 2, 1. All right.
It's kind of beautiful
Great.
when you think about it, that even though we're in separate towns, we're still clapping together.
Oh.
All right, that's the most lighthearted and whimsical we're going to get. Get ready for fucking war, everybody. Hello, and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By. Oh my god, it's that podcast again. You know, the Star Trek one we've been listening to for like 224 episodes now. Woo! Oh boy, so we're on episode 224 this week. We're covering some more Deep Space Nine episodes. We're doing
Also woo.
Once More Unto the Breach and the Siege of AR 558. As usual, this is Ames.
As you've come to expect, this is Caitlin.
This is Jake.
And this is also Chris.
Cool.
And
no one else.
no one else.
What?
No
No
guest
guest stars. Son of a
No
bitch.
one wanted to be sad with us.
I don't blame them.
Plenty of time to be sad. Let's be sad about Once More Under the Breach first.
That will not be difficult.
All right. Well, let's start off. Good God, fucking Julian and Miles are debating the legend of Davy Crockett, which, don't worry, won't be at all relevant to the rest of the show.
Or the 24th century at all. Like, it's not even relevant now. They're not going to know who the fuck Davy Crockett is in the 2300s.
I don't even know who Davy
it's
Crockett
relevant
is.
to the episode.
Yeah, it ties in.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like...
But let's let Ames do the summary.
Okay.
Yes, please. All right, so Kor shows up to ask Worf for a mission that he can get killed in, which seems to happen a lot. And Worf is there like, I could blank his memory and let him live with Kern and just do that again. But we don't do that. We do another thing. Because Martok, we learn, fucking hates the shit out of Kor because, like, Kor slighted him when Martok was a rising warrior, but he's also a low-class standing, and Kor was a dick to him, and Kor doesn't even remember. And Worf is like, oh, well, this... Okay, well, I already kind of told Kor that we could hang out during your really, really stupid battle plan. Jesus, Martok. So, you know, this isn't going to be awkward at all, because, you know, he's already here. Damn it, Worf.
Bad news. I already told him he could come over.
I thought you'd be into it. Meanwhile, yeah, as we learn, Kor is kind of losing it, like Zek was losing it, and that other time that it was also kind of uncomfortable. And he keeps kind of forgetting where he is, and whether or not Kang is alive. And we all remember, Kang is no longer alive. Sorry, Kang.
Nor Koloth.
So everyone's all
Sad day.
like, this legend Kor, we don't know if he's any good or not. Interesting. However, we're in the middle of all these battles, and Martok's really goddamn stupid plan. Martok, his plan betrays us, which no one saw coming, and someone needs to go sacrifice themselves to hold a bunch of Jem'Hadar at bay. Yikes. So Worf pulls a Bones McCoy and says, ooh, pick me. But Kor sees a great opportunity to get himself exploded, and he knocks Worf out so he can go Davy Crockett for the day. And so, yeah, there is kind of a Davy Crockett relevance after all. So he does that. In the very dumb B-plot, Quark mistakes Ezri saying something about missing Kor for thinking that she wants to get back together with Worf. And Quark tells her about this and says, but I want to get into the pouch. And she thinks it's sweet, and I think it's dumb, in the end.
Yeah, I hated that. Also, rather than like a heartfelt speech, it just should have been, Ezri, he would snap you like a twig. Do you remember how Klingon sex works?
Oh.
Jadzia was a very sturdy woman. You are made of like Canadian pixie sticks.
Sounds delicious.
Because she's a Canadian pixie.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't care for what they're doing with the Quark character this season so far.
No, agreed.
I don't know if it's going to get any better, but it seems like they've kind of stopped his character and regressed it back to just being a creep.
I do like what they do with him in the next one, but we'll get to that with that one. Yeah, I really hope that's the end, though, of, like, Quark wanting to fuck Ezri.
Oh, I doubt it.
I know, but let me hope.
Yeah, I did read there was a cut scene in which Quark just has a long venting session with Jake. So Jake's there, like, trying to pour Quark a drink, was how the scene was going to go. And Quark is just, but I've put in so much work, and I've been putting in so much nice, and why does everybody else get to have a chance with it, with any of the Daxes? I want to do it. And Jake's like, yep, that's a shame.
That explains why Jake was sitting at the bar at that one point. Like, he was just kind of sitting there, and he gave Ezri the eye. Again, I kind of almost wish they had pursued that. It would have been interesting.
Jake and Ezri?
Yeah.
I kind of wish that they had a female character on the show that didn't just end up with a relationship with one of the male characters on the show.
Well, yes, I mean, that would be ideal, but we know they're not going to allow that. So I think it would have been kind of interesting to be like, because Sisko would have been like, he knows Curzon. And he's just like, it's not that I'm against you dating Ezri. I'm against you dating Curzon. He's a bad influence. I should know.
Although there is, so I know she's not a main character on the show, but there is one character who doesn't have a sexual relationship with any of the male characters, and that's Keiko.
Yes. Excellent.
False, because we know that she's definitely boning Worf, or at least she was at one point.
Nicely
but
done.
Yes, no, obviously the best option would be just let her not be defined by her relationships, but...
It's a television show. Everybody on the television show has to hook up at some point.
Well, but especially for Ezri.
Yeah.
Or for Dax, rather. Dax is just made for boys.
Anyway, the actual plot...
I'm glad that Ezri, though, doesn't seem to be boy crazy. Like,
no, that's true.
She's just regular crazy.
Yeah, she's too busy. She's too busy still being confused to be anything, But
yeah,
yes, you're right.
I loved how Kira, in the talk between Ezri and Kira seemed to know more about Trills than Ezri did. She's like, oh, well, there's kind of a period of just getting used to the whole people asking you, oh, are you Curzon still a little bit? And you get used to it, right? And Ezri's like, yeah, I guess so. Because she's done this 8 or 15 more times. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess it makes
Curzon in her.
It makes a little sense, only because, Jadzia and Kira were close. And Ezri did not actually undergo any training. Like, Kira probably actually does know more about the process because she would have learned it from Jadzia.
Okay, so you wanted to talk about the actual plot, Chris.
Okay, sorry, you went so still for a second, I thought we lost you.
I thought the same. I was like, she is not moving.
Yes, the actual deeply depressing plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do love, they did some very interesting things in kind of this clash between Kor and Martok, to the point that, like, the show's almost like, sympathize with neither of these characters, and like, oh, interesting. Because they're both giant fucking dicks, the whole episode long. And you're like, I don't want to sympathize with either of them.
I would be interested to hear why you thought Kor was being a dick. Or how you thought Kor was being a dick. Because I definitely thought Martok was, like, being really grudgy, and I was surprised by it, since I would have thought, like, huge warrior, like, legendary fighting master of the katana, or whatever the fuck they said he was the master of. Like, I would think even a personal grudge would be nothing against that. So, but I'm curious about Kor.
Well, Kor is a giant classist. And I'm not gonna forgive him for how he treated Martok many years ago.
Well, see, that's the main bit for me, is the many years ago piece. Because, for example, we know that Kor says trans rights. And I think there are lots of redeeming qualities about Kor that I would be curious, to know whether or not anything has changed for him. We will never find out, as it turns out.
And he's got these head ridges now.
I don't know. I just kind of feel like he did this thing once a long time ago, and it was shitty. It's like, what's that, like, famous Mortal Kombat, or infamous Mortal Kombat quote, where it's like, you know, so-and-so, like, you know, one day I destroyed your village.
Oh, Street Fighter. You're talking about
Street Fighter, whatever, same thing. And that was, like, the worst day of your life, but for me it was Tuesday, and I kind of feel like that's like the kind of relationship the Core Martok thing has. It's like, for Core it was just another day at the office, and for Martok it was this life-defining, horrible moment. I don't know.
Yeah, and he says, I mean, granted, I don't think we realized at the time when he says, yeah, I don't remember you. I don't think we are led to think at the time, like, oh, it's because you have, like, Klingon dementia. We just think, damn, that's kind of cold that, oh yeah, I just did this all the time. I judged people by their class all the time and didn't let them be warriors.
Well,
it's just what happened.
I would imagine, though, that's the case. Like, I think that's not an instance of his memory going. I think it is because it was a day at the office 30 years ago or something, like.
Well, but also, like, I feel like Martok even sort of suggests that they never have met.
Yeah, no, he says as much.
Yeah, so he probably didn't know him at all.
But yes, it does imply that it probably did happen all the time.
But, like, is that, so, like, here's my question, though, like, is that a Core problem, or is that a Core CORE problem of the Klingon Empire?
He said, like, I think Martok said, Core's was the only nay vote. So I don't know how many other people were voting.
Oh, wow.
But the fact that there was just the one no vote, yeah, it's so strange, because, yeah, like you say, like, Core has a lot of traits. So, like, we learn a lot about Core in the couple of instances we meet Core. And they do a good job, like, making the traits very varied. Like, he thinks, oh yeah, I need my honor, so I'm going to go find the Sword of Kalas. You're a weird guy, Core. All right. He's going to bicker with Worf that whole episode long. But he's also good friends with Jadzia, and we think Jadzia's got good taste. Oh, wait, no, she fucking doesn't.
Yeah, it's too bad. I also, though, kind of feel like it's sort of sudden, and the whole dementia thing with him, because we didn't see him that long ago, and he seemed alright, aside from, like, the chasing legendary swords. Okay, maybe not. I take it back.
Yeah,
maybe he was already...
He also went a little nuts in that episode, too, when he was, like, you know, trying to kill Worf and shit.
Being fair, so did Worf.
That's true. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, that was
but
like...
wasn't that the Blade of Kalas, like,
no,
giving them...
No, there was no explanation.
Hornies? Come on, it was, though.
It was just
like... I'm gonna give it a pass. I'm gonna say it's Kalas's Batleth warrior hornies. War hornies, if you prefer.
I do.
But yeah, jokes on Core, though. Not only does Martok wind up a general, he marries way above his station.
I want to know that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, because his wife is essentially royalty.
Who talks to him like he is dog shit.
Yeah, but I think in that case, that's more his...
That's a kink.
Yeah.
Well, it seems to me like, you know, so clearly, you know, the Klingon Empire has some sort of rigid caste system, and it seems like it's very hard to escape, you know, the caste that you're born into.
Yeah.
But perhaps one of the ways to do that is to win personal glory.
Yeah, which would make sense.
Yeah. So it sounds like that might have been what happened with Martok. You know, he was a hero working as a civilian laborer on a ship and managed to make a name for himself. And that probably allowed him to elevate out of his lowly Kethel lowland status.
Yeah. Yeah, there's all these really, I know we talked about it before, but there's always just these little breadcrumbs about the culture that make it really quite interesting, but we never get the full story. But we did get a Klingon secretary this episode, which was fascinating. I love that.
Poor guy. Oh, Durak the aide?
Yeah.
Oh, he's my favorite. He was so sarcastic.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, yep, we're just gonna be a jerk about this today, huh? All right, I'm in.
I love the idea that maybe that's actually part of the job, is that your aide is permitted to be kind of an asshole to you to keep your ego in check.
Oh my god, yeah, like the slaves who would whisper in Julius Caesar's ear, like, hey, you're not God, asshole, keep your head on the ground here.
Yeah, because Martok, like, definitely snarls at him, but you feel like if an officer spoke to him that way, there would be like threats of violence. Whereas with this, you just have to sit there and take it. So I am telling myself until I am told otherwise by Star Trek that, you know, your aide-de-camp is also part court jester.
Yeah.
And there to take the piss out of you a little.
I like that.
Well, it also makes you wonder, so I wonder if that guy was, you know, also a lowborn sort of, you know, in a lower caste, and that's why he's kind of not a warrior, but a, you know, like a clerical guy.
Yeah.
You know, like that seems almost like something that to a Klingon would be looked down upon, you know, that kind of job, even if he's very competent at it and respected in that field. It just seems like I can't imagine that Martok actually has a lot of respect for him.
Probably not.
And I wonder how that mirrors how Kor viewed Martok in the past.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, and now Martok, he's kind of risen up, and now he kind of is a bit of a dick to people that are on the lower echelons.
Yeah, doesn't even recognize it within himself.
Durok's role also comes with the added bonus of, you're now in a battle, and if you die in this battle, glory for you! Glory on the house.
Yeah, yeah.
See, after he and Kor kind of have their bonding moment, after Kor has his big oopsie on the bridge, I kind of half expected that the secretary was gonna go with him.
Yeah.
He's an older guy.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, like, you know, because I feel like he's very, like, very nostalgic for, like, the old ways of the Empire, and, like, you could see that he saw in himself, or rather in Kor, a lot of himself and a lot of his values, and, you know, oh, Martok is but a child compared with us, and da-da-da, which is funny, because I think of Martok as being old, you know? Like, I feel like Martok is an older dude, but apparently, on the spectrum of age for Klingons, he's not so old.
Well, they seem to live to about 200 if they don't die in battle fairly regularly.
Alexander's like 5 years old, and he looks 20.
Yeah, and like, I mean, because Kor
Alexander
obviously
can't even grow up right. Fucking loser. Just kidding.
Yeah. Kor was already an adult commanding a ship, you know,
200 years ago, in the 60s.
But yeah, I also wonder, like, when I think about someone like Durok, I wonder if that's a situation where, you know, he's an older guy, he's probably toward the end of his life, you know, and I wonder if he is, you know, being in his role as sort of a civil servant kind of guy, there's probably not a lot of opportunities for glory. So I wonder if it is a thing where you, like, sign on to a ship as, like, you know, a way to earn your way into Stovacor.
Certainly,
you know?
Martok is getting everyone killed. Yay!
Oh, yeah.
This plan was bad, guys. The plan that Martok put together was terrible.
Well, this is a new ship, right? Because last time we saw Martok. Oh, it is? Okay. Well, whatever happened to the
Which, by the way,
Rotaran?
just sounds like the sound of it banging off of something. Welcome aboard the Chitang!
Wasn't his old ship the Rotaran?
Oh, I forgot about the Rotaran.
There was a Rotaran at some point.
That ship's been destroyed.
Possibly.
Somehow Martok survived. Curious.
Yeah, so Martok's plan is not even to go in and win battles and destroy things. It's just to swoop in, stir up trouble, and leave. And I look at that, I'm sure it's based off of some military strategy that Ron Moore read about or some bullshit. But you look at this against the Dominion, and is that at all like a good plan, a logical plan?
Well, it seemed like this was specifically like a base that was more Cardassian than, say, Jem'Hadar or anything like that, so maybe it's okay? I mean, it wasn't, but you could see thinking, oh, it's the Cardis. As opposed to, you know, the Jem'Hadar. Because it was ultimately, at first, it was just a Cardassian warship going after them. The Jem'Hadar came later.
Chris, someday we're going to have to talk about your racist attitudes towards the Cardassians.
Cardi isn't a slur, Spoonhead is.
I'm pretty sure they probably both are. Would you call a Pakistani a shortened version of Pakistani?
No.
That's right. So why would you call a Kardashian a Cardi?
I wouldn't call a Kardashian a Cardi. I'd call them the worst.
Or Cardassians.
Hey.
You know what I meant. Listen,
Um,
I'm just saying. Anyway.
yeah, and like, there's definitely, Cisco brings up the Old West cavalry raid or whatever.
Mm.
So it's kind of like just going out to give your enemy a bloody nose. Seek out a target that you could probably realistically take. And I don't know. I mean, I guess the plan worked more or less.
No, the thing is, so the plan was to go in, swoop in, stir up trouble, leave. However, during one of the runs, both Martok and Worf get like knocked over or something like that. Maybe there was a barrel on the bridge. Jesus Christ. And Kor's like,
barrels.
I'm in charge. Kang and I have this covered. And everyone's like, oh no, do we follow him? We kind of have to follow him. He was third in command. Shit. And instead of doing
And he's the Dahar master.
Yeah, instead of swooping in and then leaving, he's like, we will keep fighting, which was not the plan. And they have a swell of casualties, which was not the plan.
No. And then Worf caught that knife like a badass.
Oh my god, that was so great. And then whacked him in the head with it anyway. Which I was like, that's pretty good. Jake or Chris, maybe, but probably Jake. What is the Dahar Master? Do you have any explanation for this?
I really don't, because I think it's only ever talked about in relation to Kor, as far as I know.
I think Kang too, maybe?
Maybe they talked about it there too. But as far as I know, it's just like a very high-ranking person in the Klingon warrior caste.
They're actually just really good at Klingon chess.
Yes, yeah. Dahar is just actually their version of D&D.
Nah.
So it's like a dungeon master. I like that.
That's good.
I imagine Klingon D&D would be like about just living a normal life.
Yes.
It's just playing The Sims.
Humans and home ownership.
In today's campaign, we're just going to be doing our taxes.
Oh God, that's
a several night arc.
Can I just hire a Ferengi?
Roll for initiative.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you've got the gold and like I don't know, what would that even be like? Is there something in Dungeons and Dragons where you have like connections?
I don't know, to be honest. I have played other games where that's a thing, but I don't know about D&D.
Well, you're gonna have to roll your connections and have a lot of gold.
What I think was pretty interesting too with this episode and circling back to the secretary was sort of, I think, the first sort of in-universe acknowledgement that culturally, I dropped a whole syllable there, I think. Culturally, the Klingon Empire has changed a lot since TOS. Because he comes in and he's like, so much standing on ceremony now, and this and that. And it's like, it's I think the first time they've gone like, yeah, things are different aside from the ridges. Which is fine, because I mean, cultures in the real world do go through shifts, especially over the course of a century. But it is, I guess, sort of nice to see them go like, yeah, no, shit changed.
Yeah, but if any of them still saw Kirk, they'd still do battle.
Oh, yeah.
I liked the sort of escalation of things in this episode with Kor, because initially, he keeps slipping up and talking about Kang and, going to Caleb, whatever it was. And then when the battle happens, that's like sort of the moment where he kind of just completely slips from reality and is like, yes, signal Kang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it interesting how like they kind of progressed to that. They had that scene in the mess hall where Martok walks in and just makes fun of him until he leaves.
I do really, really love the scene afterwards with Martok when he's like, yeah, I mean, I always wanted him to, like, get his comeuppance and his just desserts and his just gach or whatever, but I got no pleasure out of it. Like, this is actually really fucking sad. God damn it. I just wanted to hate the guy.
You know, for Martok, this guy has been built up in his head for basically his entire life, right?
Yeah.
Ever since he was a young man, as like this evil piece of shit guy that's just, you know, the worst, right? And then he meets him and is thinking like, yes, I'm gonna have my revenge. And then he turns out to just be this, you know,
senile
feeble
old man.
Yeah, it's just sad, you know? And I think that, you know, if Martok had encountered him earlier in his career, maybe he could have had that moment of catharsis that he was hoping for, but
or even made amends. Like, that could have been different as well.
Maybe.
Yep.
I don't know.
Instead,
I feel
he's
like
kicking him like him when he's down, just like he feels was done to him.
Yeah.
Over something he can't control.
Didn't feel good.
Yeah, I love it because J.G. Hertzler also requested that Martok not join in at the song at the end because he's still bitter and doesn't want to bring himself to sing for the guy. And I think it's such a good little character detail that you're kind of a piece of shit because people are pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's the one that at the end, like, proposes. Well, I guess it's technically Duroc that comes in with the bottle, I think.
The blood wine, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, what did he say? It doesn't matter if you're on the bridge, you can drink to his victory.
Well, this is when he still thought it was Worf out there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you can drink to their courage if they win, and if they lose, you can still drink to their courage.
Yeah, but I think by the time Martok opens the wine, like, we know that it's Kor. And
oh, yeah, very much so.
Yeah, they found Worf tied up in a closet.
Yeah, I mean, he can be conflicted, you know, he can... I think the other thing, too, is you mentioned having spent so many years hating him, but of course, he probably, in the however many years before the application, like everyone else, been brought up on stories of how great he was. Which is probably, you know, it would be one thing to have never heard of the guy and then hate him. It's probably another thing entirely to have been told he was this great figure and then come to hate him. That probably really fucks with your noodle.
Mm-hmm.
True. It's also interesting how, like, when Kor first comes aboard, all of the other crew are just completely
fanboying.
Yeah, like they know him by sight. They're like, oh my god, it's the Dour Master! Holy shit! And then it doesn't take very long for Kor to start having his mental lapses for them to stop having any respect for him, you know, until he goes and does the thing.
Here's my question, because I was thinking about the thing, and like it's very, because I know like at the top, Bashir and O'Brien are doing their Davy Jones. Nope, Davy Crockett. God
Jones.
Damn it, very tired.
Davy Crockett's locker.
Yes, are going to Davy Crockett's locker. And they're like, was he actually a hero? Did he surrender? There's no way to know, because like, how would any like this stuff doesn't make it into the history books of what actually happened. And my theory is on whatever of the ships that they left to just be bait for the Jem'Hadar, Kor went off his nut again, started yelling for Kang. Everyone else tied him up, threw him in the closet with Worf, and somebody else on that ship was the hero, and we'll never know.
Yeah, Kor beamed over. They're like, holy shit, I thought it was Worf. Put this guy in the brig. I'll deal with it.
Does he still get an honorable death, though, if he's on board that ship when it gets destroyed?
I think so.
I think just by virtue of going to that ship, knowing that it was doomed in battle, that's pretty
honorable.
I think that earns your way in.
All right, well, works for me then.
So Worf was all ready to go on the suicide mission.
Of course he was. He's Worf.
Yeah.
Well, I would say arguably this is them showing, like, you know, because even he and Kor talk a little bit about Jadzia, and you feel like Worf in losing her, lost something that was sort of his, like, I don't know, like his spark, I guess. I don't know. I just kind of wonder how much of it was him being, like, still kind of mopey.
I think with her gone, if nothing else, he can go full Klingon.
Yeah. He doesn't have to think about anybody else.
Yeah, like, I think it was
especially
proven...
Alexander.
Like, it was proven that at the end of the day, he cared more about her than his career. So now he can just, he can be like, yeah, no, of course I got this suicide mission. Why wouldn't I? I'm fucking Worf. I am the Catholic Klingon.
Honor above all.
Yep.
Son of Moog, whipping boy for all. Maybe he's gonna take a page out of Kor's book next time Alexander comes to visit. He'll be like, "Who are you, Kang? Kang, is that you?"
Oh God.
Alexander's like, "Ugh, fuck
no,
this."
Alexander's dead in a ditch somewhere.
Oh,
it seems weird to me that Sisko just allows Worf to go on missions like this.
Klingon around.
Yeah.
He was offering the Defiant for the mission, and they're like, the Defiant should stay here. You realize this is a bad plan, right?
He's probably sick of listening to Worf's bullshit about glory and honor and war, and glory and honor and war, blah, 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 blah. Good, go fucking find some. Get out.
I'm just
You love
imagining,
glory
like,
and honor and war so much.
every time the Defiant is
Why
in
don't
battle
you marry it?
and Worf's in aboard, it's like, "Sir, shields are down to 96%. Ramming speed!"
That's what it is. That's why they let him go. He can get some of the Klingon out of his system so that when he's on the Defiant, he can be a bit more restrained.
Right.
He won't start talking suicide runs till 65% shields.
Sir, that Jem'Hadar ship looked at us. Ramming speed!
Worf's out here playing a big game of cosmic bumper cars with these fuckers.
They're just like, "Oh shit, there's that goddamn Defiant. Keeps trying to ram us. Jesus, we put the baby on board sticker up."
I actually have to say I hate those stickers. Like, why do I care more about a baby on board than you?
No,
shouldn't all human life be valuable?
It would be Founder on board. Really,
There
that
we
would have
go.
saved a lot of trouble in the ship. If
That's true.
Truth.
And that episode that we just had recently with Wei-Yun and
And Odo.
Wei-Yun 6
yeah.
and Odo. Yeah.
And full well the real reason for those stickers is it's a warning to everyone else. Because I have yet to see somebody with a baby on board sticker on their car who wasn't the worst driver I've ever seen.
Or even had a baby in the car with them.
It's just like, I see that and I'm just like, oh God, give them room. They are gonna, like, I don't know, fuck everything up. Just gonna ram right into a
Crazy
tree.
parents breastfeeding while driving and shit all over the road.
I really don't even know what the baby on board sticker does. Like, is it like, oh, I was gonna ram that car with my car, but since there's a baby on board.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, it's not going to stop you from, like, if your intention is that you're going to hit this car with your car, that baby on board sticker probably ain't going to do much. If anything, the baby is probably more securely fastened than anybody else on the damn thing. They've got a chair that's strapped to a safety belt. Got multiple layers of safety is all I'm saying.
And the B Sharps wrote a great song about it.
Yeah.
What? Who did?
Simpsons
joke.
About what?
Baby on
B
board.
Sharps.
Yeah, the Barbershop Quartet episode.
No, I forget.
Oh yeah, it's their big hit.
Oh,
So-
the Homer's, the quartet that he's in with, like, Barney and,
Apu
Skinner.
and Skinner, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I vaguely remember that episode exists. So, that's half the
remember
battle.
all the lyrics to the damn song.
Sing it for us.
Baby on board, how I've adored that sign on my car's window pane. I can't remember the rest.
Yay!
Actually.
The back
As far as, like,
in my step, loaded with pep, 'cause I'm driving in the carpool lane.
I'm sure that was an auditory delight for
Oh,
the
yeah,
listeners.
Oh yeah, the
completely
syncing on that
There's
audio.
a
is gonna
little
be-
bit more, but I can't. Something about the carpool.
All right,
Call
look,
me a
this is very
square
interesting.
Call me a
friend,
square
I don't care.
I know this is my fault,
That
but we have to
that
move
little
on.
yellow
I
sign
have
can
one
be
more
ignored.
note for if they
Yep,
ever
I'm
stop
telling you,
talking.
it's mighty nice.
They won't.
They won't.
I'm sorry, it's my
telling
fault.
you, it's mighty nice. Each trip's a trip to paradise with my baby on board.
Fabulous.
That's the end.
Sorry,
Let me-
it's my fault.
Let
I
me
literally
drag us
asked
back
for
down
it.
again, as I am wont to do, because this was John Colicos' last acting role before he died about a year and a half later.
Yeah, I saw that.
Who, Core?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it was, in a strangely fitting way, it was a good send-off, I think.
Yeah.
For him as an
Was that
actor.
really? He was holding out for one last time as
Yeah.
Core, and then
Exactly.
he knew he could go to Stovacor.
He's done other acting, but I feel like Core is sort of the role that I only know.
What about
really
Bat?
from.
He's big in Battlestar.
Yeah, it's true. But I feel like Battlestar is not nearly as popular a show as Star Trek.
Wait, was he in the original?
Yeah, he
Oh,
was.
wow, I
he
never
was
knew
Gaius
that.
Baltar. Well, it wasn't Gaius in the
It
original.
was just
Gaius
Baltar.
It was just. It was Count,
Mr.
was Count
Mr.
Baltar.
Baltar.
My
He was
first name is Count.
and he's just an evil man
Hmm.
who does wicked things and sits in a chair that is mysterious how he even got up there.
When you said Battlestar Galactica, I thought of Babylon 5 and was real confused.
Oh, we have a Battlestar, Babylon 5 connection for our next episode, which we should talk about.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Unintentional segue.
I love, those are my favorite kinds of segues, because I don't have to think about them. Our next episode we're discussing is The Siege of AR-558. Be prepared to be really just miserable, because it's so much war. So here
I
we
cried.
are. Wow. Damn.
Mm.
I didn't.
Yep.
So here it is.
We'll get there.
It's the eve of this supply run that we're making to the Chintaka system, which we remember we somehow gained in some battles and are barely holding right now.
But was that the one with the weapons platform?
Yes.
I think it was.
Okay. All right. Sorry to interrupt. Just
That's okay.
checking.
Oh yeah, so we're going to be going over there. So Julianne decides, for reasons, to go pay Vic a visit and remind the audience that God fucking damn it, Vic Fontaine, already fucking done with you. Anyway,
And Vic stepped up to remind us that his favorite word in the whole fucking world is pally, which he literally says 3 times by the 1 minute 58 second mark. The first, 20 seconds of which he isn't even in because we have Rom singing The Lady's a Tramp poorly.
A scamp.
Yeah,
Lady
well,
is a
sorry.
scamp.
But the song is called. But yes, you're right, of course.
Yeah. All right. So anyway,
Scamp.
we're going to
Ugh.
planet AR-558, and we're bringing Quark along for MacGuffin reasons.
Yeah, you know.
And we meet Chief Nadia Larkin, who is in command after their captain and first officer, and 2/3 of their fucking garrison have gotten killed to fuck, holding the
Mhm.
line. And she and their officer, Vargas, are this is some goddamn bullshit. And Sisko's yes, it is. Speaking of goddamn bullshit, we learn the Dominion have these Houdini mines that they can hide in subspace, so they can just blow you up randomly, even if you checked where they were before. So that is both fucking fascinating and fucking terrifying, but also fucking fascinating. So let's see, we have a whole bunch of stuff go on. The Jem'Hadar sends some holograms in, and everyone's whoops, well now they know our position and numbers. Jadzia, quick! Oh, sorry, I mean Ezri, quick. Take this guy Kellen and break through their subspace somehow, because we gotta find those mines. Nog, with your lobes so bright, won't you find their camp tonight? And Nog says,
Nice.
okay. So we do those things. Ezri turns off subspace, or whatever it is she does, and Nog finds that there's just a fucking shit ton of Jem'Hadar. And as they go scope out their camp, Larkin gets fucking killed, and Nog gets fucking shot to hell, so bad that he loses his leg and pisses the hell out of Quark. So it is personal now, and we do this really long battle scene to remind us that war sucks, because after that baseball episode, we kind of forgot that war sucks, but here's a reminder. War totally fucking sucks. And we pull a Night's Watch kind of a thing and hold the fucking line. And everyone's yay! Oh, no, we're not. Everyone's this is terrible. We're all fucking miserable. And Quark is here to tell everyone, I fucking told you so. And could someone turn off the Vic Fontaine music, because it's really distracting and has no place in this episode. Fucking table flip the end.
It's like someone just saw the Shawshank Redemption, that scene when Andy puts on, like, the opera music, and they were just like, you know what, we need that here, except it's Vic Fontaine.
Ira Bear is so fucking proud of having all this Vic Fontaine, and I think he needs to be hit in the head.
And preferably shaved. God, I hate that goddamn
come on,
beard.
Pallies. It's all right, Pallies.
Pally. Oh, Pally.
See, I don't know what they were going for with that, because, if anything, because of the way it was echoing, like, it was more creepy than soothing.
And if you're listening for Jem'Hadar, who are about to come in and kill you, having music playing isn't gonna, like, not help you hear the Jem'Hadar coming.
Well, it's okay, because they're gonna come in screaming, so...
Which they've never done before, and I was pissed.
Maybe the Jem'Hadar
Maybe these are the alphas or the betas or whatever.
They're just mesmerized by Vic Fontaine's beautiful voice, and they just walk in and are slaughtered one by one. Maybe that's what they were hoping for.
It's like young Frankenstein. They're kind of plucking at the air, like
trying to catch the music notes. That would be, yeah.
Or there's something about the way Jem'Hadar are programmed that they actually just find the music horrifying.
Oh, yeah.
They're just scared to death of it.
Well,
it's
so
like
they ran in screaming after a lot of them had already been blowed up by the Houdinis.
Yeah.
So maybe they were just pissed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they were specifically created, like in a fucking lab somewhere by the founders, to be a stealth race, to be stealthy as fuck. They can turn invisible when they're healthy enough, because, you know, we saw that group in Rocks and Shoals that lost their invisible maneuvering because they were fucking starving to death.
Yeah.
But they can turn invisible. Like, they're really great warriors. You'd think run in screaming through a funnel point. What are those things called?
Choke point?
Choke point. Run through a choke point screaming. That's a terrible move. Be invisible.
Yeah.
Turn invisible. Sneak in.
Yeah.
Screaming their way through the choke point. These people must play Overwatch. That sounds like
Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, exactly. They definitely Leroy Jenkins their way in. Although, I don't know, I could sort of see, you know, normally when we see the Jem'Hadar operate, they are being a lot more tactical. Whereas this really was just try to overwhelm the defenses. So maybe when they're doing that kind of an assault, they do, you know, war cries and shit like that. Maybe.
Again, I'm willing to take what Aim said. Just said it's a quirk of the Alpha batch.
Yeah, I could go with that too.
They do seem way more aggressive.
Well, we've only seen them once. But
they were idiots.
Although I got to imagine that since I'm assuming reinforcements still are not able to come through the wormhole, I'm guessing.
Even now that it's open again?
Yeah, right. Because the prophets, I'm imagining, are still in there disappearing their ships as needed.
I don't know, because at some point the female changeling got back to the Link because she's ill, like the rest of the Link.
Oh,
oh yeah, that's true. Unless, I was gonna say maybe it's like had a long incubation period. But then if that were true, then Odo should be sick too.
It could be that since it reopened, they're, you know, whatever happened that it was closed for a while, they've just kind of, they can't act as a blocker anymore or something.
Well, talk about a fucking choke point. Just station a bunch of starships at the wormhole, and every time it opens, just blast anything that comes out. You know, like why even, like, that's the only thing I'm thinking. It's like, yeah, Deep Space Nine is still right there.
Now that you've retaken the space, put the minefield back.
Yeah.
No, they can't do the same thing twice. Idea. This is a television show.
Well, maybe they can learn how to hide them in subspace like these assholes did.
Oh, yeah, like it's such an interesting idea, these subspace mines that can just, even when you've scanned an area, they're still technically there. You just cannot fucking detect them.
Yeah, that must really wear on one's psyche after a while.
Yeah, and then the fact that, okay, once we find them, these seem like some fucking war crime kind of things.
They do.
But
yeah,
we're
big
going to
time.
use them ourselves, and Gene
Yeah.
Roddenberry is spinning in his grave in space.
Well, thankfully, Esri was the voice of reason there and was like, really? We can't believe they were using these, and now we're going to turn around and... Okay.
Yeah, but we used them anyway.
Well, yeah, but at least someone spoke up against it, I guess is what I mean.
And they
So-
said, shut the fuck up.
So, why did they use Billy Mooney here instead of Voyager? Is it too on the nose?
What would he be in Voyager?
Oh, I don't know, but because he was in Lost in Space.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, he was the original Will Robinson, and that's kind of funny. I do know that since he was also a big character in Babylon 5, I don't know which one, I've never seen Babylon 5, he basically said, like, I know you want me on your show at some point because we know each other and all this thing. I will not be an alien. I've been an alien for so long. I don't want to just be an alien all the fucking time. Can I be a human and have my actual face, please? So they did.
Nice.
Then they killed the fuck out of him.
Was the
Yeah.
entire Federation garrison humans?
Yes.
Probably.
Okay. I think all
Yeah.
the ones we saw, at least all the ones that were named, definitely were.
Yeah, but I think even in the background, I don't remember spotting.
It's surprising.
Okay.
Usually when you see a group of Starfleet, they usually, throw in a Bolian or something to mix it up.
Yeah, that guy was killed.
I guess they had their work cut out for them without doing all the Jem'Hadar makeup this week.
Yeah, and both Ferengi.
But really all three, because you had the ROM scene at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Unnecessary ROM scene. But yeah, speaking of the
Uh,
Ferengi, so we've got Quark here for the most forced fucking reason, because it's
So
like,
forced.
there's no reason Quark should be doing any intel for Ferenginar anyway, because Ferenginar isn't in this fucking war. I mean, I guess war is good for business, as they say in several of the rules of acquisition.
Well, yeah,
Isn't it also bad for business?
Weren't the Dominion also getting close to them, though? Like, weren't they, like, at one of their neighboring planets at one point? Is it possible they were just trying to be sort of, like, planning a good defense and that being the best offense or whatever?
I don't think Ferenginar has any defense. I think their defense is make a deal with it.
Yeah, no, Ferenginar's defense is, so, how do we join?
I have all this Tulaberry wine. Would you accept that? Wait, what's that? The wormhole's closed? Shit. We don't have any Tulaberry wine.
Yeah, I mean, the reason was ludicrous, but I really enjoyed his scenes,
Yeah,
so I
having
was willing to
Quark
give it
there
a
was-
pass.
Yeah, having Quark there was great. Why? Like, they just had no good reason for him to be there, and that got very distracting for me. But having him there, like, his scenes were excellent.
Yeah. Yeah,
And-
like, the absurdity of the whole thing, it's like... Ugh. The one thing we were saying at the end was, like, you really want the scene where Sisko's on the horn chewing out an admiral for allowing this to happen.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying at the end. I was hoping that's what we were going to get, because they were like, oh, yeah, good news. Like, we finally have people that are going to, come and replace these folks who were supposed to be there for 3 months and have been there for 5, and, 3/4 of their people are dead. And I was like, oh, man, I hope there's, like, an admiral or somebody for Sisko to chew out right now for letting this shit happen.
Nope,
But,
Sisko's in the
alas.
let's wait and see how this plays out camp.
Yeah, and I think that was important to was like, the arc for him, because like he was very much into whatever it takes to take this thing, and I think by the end, keep this thing, and by the end, like, while he acknowledges still was important to keep, I think, he's still pissed. Plus, you really think if this thing is so important, this would be the one place you make damn sure gets the relief when it's supposed to.
Is there just that little relief left in the Federation right now? Everybody's already positioned someplace?
You feel like this is the one thing where you would be like, you know what? Holding this place is worth losing this random little fuck off. This is the place that sacrificed Deep Space Nine to take out a single shipyard.
Yeah.
Like, if the entire Admiralty, when this war is over, isn't court-martialed for gross incompetence and fully replaced, which they probably aren't, since we know what happens after nowadays, like, I don't understand how Starfleet works, because it seems like only the worst, most incompetent dickheads actually make it into the Admiralty.
Accurate.
Like, the corrupt ones we've actively seen aside, like, just look at how this war has gone. Like, the people making decisions are staggeringly inept.
Yeah,
and
also
it's
have
just
to look
like-
at it of even if they were any good at doing a war, the Dominion's forces are that much more superior to any of the Federations because they're huge. They can just throw people they can zap Brannigan the fuck out of it by just throwing Jem'Hadar at them because they can grow new ones in a fucking week.
Yeah,
nothing
can stop them except maybe the prophets that one time in the wormhole.
Yes, but it feels like they aren't even trying, you know? Again, see giving up DS9 for a single shipyard. Like, what? And I get it. This happens, like, at the same time a shitload of, this happens only a few years after the complete devastation of Wolf 359 and the Borg tearing ass to Earth in First Contact. Like, it's the worst possible timing. But Jiminy, Jesus. You've allied with the Klingons and the Romulans at this point. Get your shit together.
What if the Borg were here? We threw the Borg at them.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh wait, but then the Borg will be that much bigger, and then they'll just wipe out the Federation.
Just picturing
never make
a
a deal with the Borg. It's a bad idea.
Trying to picture the Borg attempting to assimilate a founder, and like every time they stick out the little tubes, it just turns to goo and flips them off. They're like, what the?
No, they inject the nanoprobes or whatever it is, and then like it goes into the founder, and they act all like, "Oh God, I'm being assimilated," but then they spit them out at them like watermelon seeds or something.
They try to assimilate a Vorta in the nanites. You're like, this thing's already assimilated. What?
I really liked what they did with some of the side characters.
Oh, the soldiers?
You know? Yeah, so like Vargas stood out as just like this sort of war-weary badass, but also like angry. Like, I guess both he and the other dude, I can't remember the other dude's name. Reese, the guy with the knife. Like they were kind of, I guess, kind of the same character.
I couldn't tell them apart after a while because one of them I think died. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, Vargas got stabbed during the battle.
Oh no!
So, Reese lived
with his knife.
But
he left the knife behind.
Yeah, he did. He threw the knife in the dirt.
Someone else will use this on some Jem'Hadar. He's
so
also
Vargas was familiar to me because he was a pretty, not a major character, but a significant character in Breaking Bad. That same actor.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And then I also remembered that he was in Alien Resurrection as basically Vargas, as like, you know, as a space marine.
I think the key difference between Vargas and Reese was like they're both stressed out and sick of this shit, but whereas it feels like Vargas could just like go full oh damn it, I can't remember his name. In the guy that loses it in Full Metal Jacket.
I thought you were gonna be like, you know, like, oh man, what was the main character in First Blood? I can't remember the name.
Yeah, is it Vincent D'Onofrio's character? Anyway, the guy that snaps.
I know.
You're waiting for Vargas to snap. Like, Reese is pissed off and disgruntled and all that, but he feels more together.
He seems like a sociopath. Like, Nog looks like, Jesus fucking Christ, Nog. He's like, oh man, he's got a necklace full of Jem'Hadar Kestracel white tubes, and that's cool. And Quark is like, what the hell is wrong with you, Nog? That's terrible. That's taking trophies off your kills, and that's not what Starfleet is about.
That's not very Starfleet, is
it?
Well,
humans.
That's what I was thinking about during this, is like, when you think about like the ages of most of these characters, like they signed up during the good years. These were people who joined Starfleet to explore and do like TNG shit. And now they've got this thrown at them. And it just must be like, what the fuck?
Can you imagine like the recruitment ads that Starfleet has to run to get people to sign up these days? It's like the US Army, you know?
Yeah.
Be all that you could be in Starfleet. Collect Jem'Hadar trophies.
Yeah. like...
Ketracel light tubes.
Yeah. Like, Nog joined up right before things got really bad, but that means the majority of his training was sort of based on this sort of war standing.
Yeah, we know where we're headed. We're going to have to train you to use all these rifles.
Yeah, whereas, like, maybe this guy who's collecting trophies, like, was just a fucking navigator on an Excelsior happy to beam down and occasionally get alien strange. Like, yeah, no wonder he lost his mind. He wasn't trained for this.
Well, it reminds me of Curly, right? You know, Setlick 3.
Well, that's the difference, though, is he enlisted during a period of war.
That's true. Yeah, I guess he knew what he was signing up for.
Yeah, like, if anyone is used to this, it's him. You know, like, everybody else, anyone who wasn't there for the Cardassian border wars or anything like that, they were cutting their teeth during the, the era where the worst thing that could happen on your ship was your holodeck malfunctioning or maybe getting caught in a time loop. Yeah, it could. But I mean, like, it wasn't, they're probably trained like, all right, here's what happens, red alert, here's battle procedures, this and that. It'll happen sometimes. They go through 15, maybe 20 years as an officer, having a good time. And then it's like full-blown war with, honestly, our toughest competition since we were at it with the Klingons a century and a half ago.
Borg. The Borg came between them, though.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Borg...
But that wasn't a full-blown...
The thing is, the Borg is bad for a week.
Yeah.
Like, you get over the week of the I and you're fine.
I mean, you do lose an extraordinary amount of people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, big time.
But it's quick. There's no, like, sieges.
The Borg doesn't hold a planet.
The Borg is a natural disaster.
Okay, I like that.
But yeah, like a long, drawn-out... And even the war with the Cardassians, we know, was sort of different because it was made pretty explicit at some point in TNG that, like, in reality, if the Federation wasn't the Federation, they kind of could have just steamrolled them. But that's not how they do. Whereas, so, like, again, this is like the first time in ages where they've come up against an enemy that can really, push them to, like, we might lose this. So that's, something no one currently in Starfleet really, except maybe some really old Vulcan admiral, remembers. And even then, he was a...
Core remembers.
Yes. Core remembers almost kicking their ass. And then fucking L'Rell shows up, ruins everything.
I couldn't help but notice that, when Julian gets... At the very beginning of the episode, when Julian picks up the mixtape that he ordered from Vic, Vic's like, I'd like to join you on your trip. And he's like, there won't be any holodecks where we're going. And then the first wave of Jem'Hadar, all holograms.
True.
Someone call Vic. Let Vic get killed 15 more times.
Oh no. Vic's gonna get his hands on a mobile emitter someday.
Oh no.
So's Moriarty.
True. Oh, that'd be good. You know what I liked, though, of all this? Because I think both Caitlin and I were I don't know, I think you were dreading it. You correct me if I'm wrong. But the minute Will Robinson starts talking to Ezri, it was like, oh no. Are they gonna try to,
they're gonna kill him.
But they're only ever just buddies. And that was great.
Oh, you mean the boys thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as they started to chum up, I was like, oh, come on, dude. Don't do this. Not here, not now. This is really not the time or the place.
And it wasn't. And they were just like, no, they were just friends. And he was happy to have someone there who could help him.
And that was definitely her bro. When he died, she was...
Yeah.
That sucked. That's when I broke.
Aww.
Because I was like, oh no. I obviously knew Dax wasn't going to get shot, but then that guy popped up to save her. And my immediate response was like, oh, he saved her. Oh my God, no!
Actually, your exact words were, oh no, the good engineer.
Oh yeah, that's what I said. It's true, because I couldn't remember his name. Still can't. What's his name?
I don't remember.
Was it like
Kellen.
Kelly?
Kellen. I was going to say, I knew someone said it earlier. But yeah, that was a bummer. But yeah, I was glad that they weren't like, let's try to shoehorn some romance in here in this totally inappropriate landscape. Like,
also a guy that seems to know at least enough about Trill to just be like, great, one of you was an engine. Perfect, come on.
Yeah, I also feel like the way that they're doing it, like, Ezri is still very one note. It's very, I'm all these things, and I'm confused. every scene. With
and I'm
her.
annoying.
It was nice, though, to see that, like, she was able to kind of channel that for once, though. Like, I'm going to focus, and I'm actually going to do some engineering shit I had no idea I could do.
Yeah.
It's sort of a less ridiculous version of the backflip catch in Take Me Out to the Holosuite.
Gross. I don't know. The note I made was, Ezri, despite having 9 lives, is still somehow 1 note. It should have been 9 note.
9 lives,
9
only
note.
1 note.
That's the problem, though, isn't it? Like, you need a season to really settle into figuring out how to write a character, and all she gets is a season.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah, a season that's already very full of stuff.
so much.
Yeah. They don't really have enough time to do just like character building episodes for Ezri.
Yeah, no. I think she gets 1. I vaguely recall.
I feel like there's one about Murder Man.
Yeah.
that
Duran?
comes up. Duran, yeah.
I think
would love-
Duran.
Yeah, I would have much preferred to see what Jadzia could have done in these positions, but...
But yeah, it was good to see them not do inappropriate romance for once.
Exactly, yeah.
For once.
They were just, colleagues in the field. It's like, wow, so you do know how to write this way.
What a novel fucking idea.
Maybe you should have done it more frequently.
I kind of liked how we had a more paternal side from Quark where Nog was concerned. Like, I felt like a lot of it was his usual humans shit, which I kind of thought we had gotten past when all the humans on the station got together to, like, bring him shit to rebuild his bar. But Quark seems to have unlearned a lot of his lessons.
I mean, the thing is, what he says about humans here isn't inaccurate. He's like, look, that thing, these are people from a post-scarcity society. Give them scarcity again, and they regress fast. Which, honestly, I feel like is what would happen.
Probably.
I think, especially if anything, if you're used to being comfortable all the time, you really don't know how to deal with not being comfortable.
Well, and I feel like that is definitely, like, one of the underlying, or, like, through running
Recurring themes of the series.
Themes, yeah. Well, especially because, like, when we think about when the kids were running the ship last season, they fucking lost their damn minds.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't seem that. It seems like we see that a lot lately,
Yeah.
and I think that's probably, more a discussion about man during war. Because, I mean, when you think about it, like, when we're at war, that's when some of the most horrible atrocities are committed. Like, raping and pillaging becomes the norm again. This is the 24th century, war in space version of, like, that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure there's rules against it, but there are, soldiers do collect trophies.
Yeah, I don't know. I wished, because Nog doesn't regain consciousness by the end of the episode, does he?
Yeah,
he does. We have
did
some,
he?
we have some
He
talk
talks
with
to
him.
Cisco. He talks about how,
that's
like,
right.
he's like, it
Totally.
doesn't hurt. You'd think it would, but it doesn't hurt.
All right.
He's in shock, like, whoa.
I'm sure. Putting on his
for
tough
some reason, I
face.
forgot that scene happened. But I guess the point was, like, my point I was going to make was that, at the beginning of the episode, he's all kind of worshiping these badasses, and he's, not, he's listening to Quark, and Quark's trying to give him that lesson about humans, and Nog's just not having any of it. He's like, this is war, this is Starfleet, we're gonna do
Red
it.
Squad,
Yeah.
Red Squad,
I was going
Red
to say,
Squad.
it's exactly, again, like that episode where, like, it's basically Quark's trying to tell him what Jake tried to tell him, which is like, this ain't it,
Yeah,
Like-
and it's weird because he had that lesson, but now that he's been maimed, maybe now he'll understand that war isn't a picnic.
I guess we'll see, since this seems to be the season of forgetting all the work we did in previous
Nope.
season.
Next week is the picnic episode, so.
Well, see, I think the difference here, the reason he could get bamboozled again, is because, like, all right, they were stupid because they were, like,
Children,
and they were doing stuff they weren't supposed to. Like, these are officers, these are adults, these people I'm supposed to look. Son of a bitch!
Yeah.
not
that's true.
again.
Like,
I mean, but the other thing is, it's not like the other ones were glorifying. Like with Red Squad, the other ones were like, "Yeah, we're the best, we're the best." But in this one, the other soldiers are like, "This sucks.
yeah,
Yeah,
this
we
is
fucking
awful."
hate this.
yeah.
And yet, Nog is still like, "Yeah, but war, am I right?"
Check
I
out
think
these sweet serial killer trophies over here.
I think it's less the whole war thing. It's more like, wow, you guys are so impressive. And they're like, we really aren't. We are just trying to live, kid. Like, we are so tired. Fucking trophies guy is going to leave Starfleet and just open a fucking ice fishing business in Canada.
When you say that, do you mean become like a serial killer of some kind? Because I feel like that seems more...
I mean, you know.
Column A, column B.
Easy to occasionally disappear one of your clients in the middle of nowhere, Canada.
Well, into the ice fishing hole.
Yeah.
Bet if you weighed somebody down and threw them in there, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, there's also a nice parallel between this episode and the previous episode when the reinforcements finally arrive and somebody, forget who, says, they're basically children. And I think Cisco says, not for long. And I'm thinking, yikes. And you think last episode, in Once More Under the Breach, when our good friend Darroch is talking with Kor about, they're basically all children compared to us.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing. They're having this whole new thing, and they're babies.
That's the interesting thing, too. Like, I'm not sure how things are going for the Klingons, but, like, you do feel like, you know, you've got Kor and the Secretary, who are both, like, probably close to 200. Martok, you feel like maybe a little older than Worf, but they're probably contemporaries, kind of. And it just feels like everybody else is, like, a kid. Like, where's everybody in the middle? Oh, they're dead.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's what war do.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's just like, you know, your veterans, they don't last in a situation like this because, you know, they're sent to places like this where they just get fucked up.
Yeah. And also, Klingons don't have much of a survival instinct.
Yeah.
And they aren't very nice to people with mental health problems.
Ooh.
Holy shit.
It really doesn't
Oh,
seem
you
to
have
me like...
PTSD, you pussy? We're all gonna make fun of you. Oh, shit.
Like, that makes sense that, though, like, Klingons would not have a lot of veterans because, as given any opportunity, they're just like, well, today's a good day to die. Yep, cut myself shaving. Ramming speed!
Yeah, it seems like when that's your whole philosophy, it must be a bitch to hold on to people.
Yeah.
Because their whole thing is like, we really want to die in battle. So it's like...
Like, in a way, it's really like you have all these 200-year-olds because of... It was, again, a somewhat different culture at that point, and they were a little more willing to try to keep themselves alive. You know, I feel like there's a bunch of 200-year-olds, and then, like, no one else is making it past, like, 60.
Well, like, TOS Klingons were, like, just villainous humans. Like, they were just villains. They didn't have any of that warrior stuff. So,
No.
You know, I guess that just makes... So something happened between TOS and TNG eras.
Yes, they came up with a new television show.
Well, no, I mean, but in universe, you have to imagine that something...
I mean, without getting into spoilers, you could almost see, like, it all kind of lines up just about right that, like, if you have this sudden interest in Klingon religion that crops up in the first season of Discovery, and if that managed to gain a big enough foothold, and because they established that the Klingons had been sort of civil warring for a while, and I think you could see evidence that the society becomes sort of decadent.
It's probably those damn Duroses again, isn't it?
Probably. Then this, like, religious fanatic shows up and sort of reintroduces religion to the Empire in a big way. And you can see that maybe, you know, not the fanatical version as much, but, you know, if it reinvigorates an interest in Kahless and all that, you can see 100 years later, there's a more, you know, glory and honor, which is also, I mean, that is certainly a way that fading sort of societies try to prop themselves up, is building up on their own. You know, you look at, like, the Code of Bushido or the Code of the British Knights. What the hell do they call it?
The Knights of Templar?
No, not that. They're actual, like...
Oh.
Magna Carta.
No. But there's technically a name for the British.
The British, the Knights, that say ni.
Damn it, I thought you actually had it.
That was good, Jake. That was really well done.
I knew he didn't.
But those codes were, like, very rarely actually followed. It was just a story you tell yourselves to prop up your warriors and this and that and your cultural, traditional nonsense.
Well, it's also interesting. So in Star Trek VI, Praxis is destroyed, and Admiral Joe Sisko.
Right.
I don't remember if it was him or somebody else that said it. Actually, I just wanted to bring him up because he was in that movie. But somebody's like, yeah, the Klingon Empire has roughly 50 years of life left, and I wonder if, we don't see any of that period really between Star Trek VI and TNG, and I wonder if like the Klingons really did come very close to just collapsing as a entity, and maybe there was some sort of resurgence of traditional
if the
bullshit,
seeds had already been laid a few decades earlier.
So maybe because we don't really hear much about or see much of the cult of Takuvma at all. I mean, obviously they never came up with it when they made the movies, but we don't see anything about that. So I guess we could assume that maybe it remained a fringe cult until sometime after the destruction of Praxis, and that and that kind of put it, the Empire was in a depressed state, and just people needed, like you say, that sense of honor or whatever that could bring them out of that to the other side.
Like it all sort of works out, I think, because of the areas that are left vague. You can kind of put together what maybe happened.
Cool. I forget how we got into this discussion.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not.
But I'm going to segue us back out, because there's the interesting thing that kind of is, it's not even an arc, it's just a consistent thing that Sisko does in that he reads the names every time there's a new installment of names. And this, at the very, very end, it's like, oh, how many names this week? And I think Kira or whoever says, 1,730 names. And he says, oh man, you know what that means? I'm like, it's going to take you a long time to read that list. That's what that means.
Yeah, I think a big part of this was reminding Sisko that there is a person behind every name. Because even he sort of says at the beginning, like, they're starting to blur together. It's starting to, like, he's still reading them, but the impact is lessening. And I think
he gets to go and hang out with some doomed people.
Yeah, and being there among the shit has sort of reminded him.
Well, and especially because they're basically saying, we know that you're a big swinging dick captain. You don't give a shit. You don't have to stay. You don't care what happens to us here. And then he was like, well, I didn't, but now I have to prove that I do because I'm stubborn like that.
Yeah.
Also, the Defiant had to leave for some reason.
Yeah, well, they offered to beam him up.
Briefly.
But he said, leave us behind. Which is like, great, you want to have this moment, but you think you would like maybe ask everyone else,
Let Quark leave.
Any of you guys want to go? I'm going to stay.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked by that, too. It was just like, dude, some of these people got families and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's his job, is to make decisions for his people, but still.
He can order the Federation guys to stay, but yeah, there's no reason why Quark
had to be there.
To stay.
I feel like, though, even though he's Quark, like, if Nog was going to be there, he wasn't going to leave.
Disagree. Quark would have left.
I don't know, because I think he does actually care about Nog, and that's, there's that moment where the Jem'Hadar runs into the medical bay, and Quark, hears him coming because of his Ferengi sense, and, preempts him from shooting Nog.
Well, that guy would have just shot everybody. They weren't looking for Nog. They were just looking for people.
But Nog would have been killed along with anybody else that was in there.
And rather than not stand and run and scream like he might be Quark killed the fuck out of that guy.
He did. That was
Big
great.
Time.
And actually, we see Ezri do some killing too, and we know from listening to her talk about things that, she knows that her other incarnations have done things, but she's never done them. So I would guess that this was a first for both of them.
Well, as you said, he did accidentally kill that Klingon that one time, but this may be his first...
intentional killing.
Yeah. And his face certainly would suggest...
Yeah, great acting from Armin Shimmerman in that moment.
He gave great
Even
face.
with all that shit on his face, you know what I mean? It's incredible. And all those teeth in his mouth. He's amazing.
You know, he's someone
really
who knows how
incredible.
to act under makeup.
I definitely I don't love what they're doing with him so far this season, but that doesn't take away, you know, you can take away the good parts of his character, maybe, but you definitely can't take away Armin Shimmerman's skill and talent, thankfully.
He also shot the guards in the holding cell area when he and what's-her-face...
oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Was that a stun or kill situation?
I don't know. I don't know if we get the answer to that.
Which episode are you talking about?
When Nog and Kira and
Sacrifice of Angels?
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. Rom and Kira and Lita are in the in the rig.
Where their little pseudo underground is about to get executed.
The end of that 6-parter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was Sacrifice of Angels. But I'm also thinking in Jake's favorite Ferengi episode, Magnificent Ferengi. Don't he and Lek kill some Jem'Hadar, or am I making that up? Somebody killed some Jem'Hadar. I know one of them was Lek.
Definitely Lek. That is his job. He is a fuck. What's his title? Eliminator.
Oh, right.
Yeah, one more Nog note, and that was that there was a good moment when they were considering having Nog lose both of his legs.
Oh wow!
Oh, shit.
And they said, yeah, one. This is already fucking horrifying. Let's let him have one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. It's like, I mean, I'm sure I'm not going to forget that it happened, but I'm guessing that he's just going to have a prosthetic on underneath his, like, space outfit, and, like, we won't really talk too much about it again. Like,
so, fun fact.
Uh-huh.
He gets to have his own little Picard dealing with the Aftermath episode.
Does he? That's awesome.
This is addressed.
Good.
He gets to wrestle with Robert in some mud.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
I only bring it up because...
Oh, I got you. I was like, what?
I only bring it up because it's actually quite soon.
Oh, so. Good. Well, I'm glad, because it would be, to me, kind of unacceptable to be like, yeah, we blew this beloved secondary character's leg off.
And we theoretically have a counselor. Sure, he's not gonna do a fucking
I don't
thing.
want that. I don't want that to happen. Can't he just talk to Dr. Bartender from the original series? Anything but Ezri, please.
We'll see pretty soon, because I don't remember how they resolve it. I just know
I'm
that
excited.
It is an upcoming episode where they discuss the leg.
I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see if they can turn that frown upside down and get a little ha-ha out of Nog by the end of it. Oh, yeah.
Aaron Eisberg, I'm sure, will bring it.
Well, he must have such an interesting perspective, too, because, I mean, he of course, lived with chronic illness, which is a, slightly less visible and obvious disability than literally missing a leg, but it will be interesting to see what he brings to that, and what he might give us that another actor wouldn't have done. I look forward to it. I just love Nog. Did you guys think when we started talking Deep Space Nine so long ago, like a year and however long ago, that one day I'd be like, I love Nog?
Knowing his arc, there was a good chance.
Oh, fine.
But yes, if I didn't know his arc, I would be surprised.
Oh, fine. I accept your explanation.
Yeah, based just on season 1, we'd be like, oh no.
Yeah.
Caitlin, where are your tastes?
Who could have predicted from his first appearance that Vic would be my favorite character?
God damn it.
I knew it. I do like the idea, though, of, like, holodeck created mixtapes for when you're cruising to a war zone.
Yeah.
Did they just contract Jimmy Darren for a certain number of episodes or something and had to work him in? Is that what happened?
Maybe.
Well, this was 2 birds with 1 stone, though, because that means that Rom got his writer-required piece as well. So at least it was a twofer.
Was Odo in this one at all?
I was trying to think about that when we were talking about changelings earlier. I do not remember.
I don't think so. Because I feel like they spend their whole time on the Defiant. No, they're briefly on the station, but he's only ever with Kira, I think, both times. And he was only in the last one really quick to kind of take the piss out of Quark a little.
Nice.
Yeah.
I do miss they don't banter as much as they used to.
No.
Oh, it's typical guy gets a girlfriend and like just vanishes up her ass.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, he's taking his sexual frustrations out on someone else now. Like, he isn't just angry and horny all the time anymore. Was it in Dead Men on Campus? My God, you're so horny, you've turned mean.
Oh, no.
I have one line note for, I think it was Ira Bear and Hans Baimler that wrote this. I have one line note that would have been better. And that said, I think it's the engineer Kellen who's like flipping the sight on his rifle.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, my thumb is getting nervous or something like that. And Sisko says, I know how you feel. Better line, I know how your thumb feels.
That is good.
I don't get it.
His thumb is feeling nervous.
Like, obviously, he's nervous, but he's claiming...
I know how your thumb feels. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
That would be good. I support that line.
They also
let's get Tig Notaro to tape that and get in there with it.
Yeah, again with him before we're getting towards the end, but they didn't do the unnecessary romance, and his death was really quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like they sort of panned down to Esri holding him at one point, but it wasn't a big drawn out. It was just like, like people just fucking died and were gone. Pretty much. Like, he got, I think, the most attention, and by TV terms, he got no attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, like, Vargas is like, blink and you miss it.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, same with the lieutenant that got killed when they were doing the recon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She was just
gone.
Brutal.
Yeah, I read that there was a lot of, like, people didn't want to do this episode. And Ira Bear basically had to say, no, we've got to do more war is fucking shit episodes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what they wanted instead of an episode like this. I think they were like, no, this is going to be too brutal and gruesome or something. But yeah, there was a lot of like debate over, do we have to? Do we have to do war? It's like, you guys decided to do war several seasons ago.
Yeah.
They wanted
it now.
They wanted to do fun TV war, not war. It's supposed to be glorious, not commentary.
Anything else?
Speaking of commentary, our commentary has come to an end.
Yeah.
That is a good segue. Well, sweating my balls off. So, if you like what you heard and you'd like to hear more, you can nope.
You can nope right out of here.
You can nope right the fuck out.
That's normally what you say.
Yeah, but I feel like I should be like, thanks for joining us for another episode of A Star to Steer Her By. And then say if you want to hear more.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? I feel like I've been playing myself. Well, hey, listen. Thanks for listening to our podcast, and if you enjoyed it, you can subscribe and make sure you never miss an episode. We're on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. You can also check us out on Facebook by searching for A Star to Steer Her By, where we share all kinds of Star Trek and science-y bullshit-related news. It's great. It's fun. We interact with you. You interact with us. It'll be fun. Let's see. You can also find us on Twitter and Tumblr at SSHB Podcast, or you can visit our website, sshbpodcast.com, our home on the internet, where you can check out things that we have written in the past, as well as past season reviews, tops and bottoms, you know, all the good shit.
Speaking of not missing an episode,
yes,
I do not often look at our numbers, but I happened to glance the other day, and a lot of you didn't listen to the episode where we discussed Prophet and Lace. Now look, it's a terrible episode, but if I sat through it, I expect you to sit through it too.
We had
or at least
amazing
our commentary on it.
Yeah, we had some great discussion on that fucking train fire of an episode.
I was surprised really at how much Chris loved that episode. It was
So yeah, you again, you don't have to watch it even. Just listen to us be very sad about it.
Yeah, you'll remember how much you hated it.
Don't make me have watched that episode for nothing.
It's true. Our sacrifice can't be for naught.
Exactly.
Think of us as being doomed Starfleet members on Starbase AR-55, whatever the fuck it was.
Sorry, you were saying.
Anyway, as usual, I have been Caitlin.
I have been Jake.
This has been Chris.
And this is always Ames.
Hey, rule of acquisition 125. Can't make a deal if you're dead.
Pally.
Pally.